G'day everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now today we're going to have a little, we're going to step you through the taking out of the affected Wilson tweeter and all the process of getting the tweeter out of the tweeter housing. Then what we're going to do is we're going to pull the tweeter down and we're going to find what will be a blown up voice coil diaphragm. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the taking out of the tweeter, the breaking down of the tweeter. So we'll start. I'll turn the camera around and I'll show you how I've set things up for this process. So as you can see, we've got the top part of the Wilson out here on the bench. I've wrapped a towel around this part of the speaker, the mid-range, so that we don't damage anything. Nothing falls and damages the paintwork on this upper array. We'll take these stainless steel bolts out. Then we'll unsolder the tweeter away from the wiring, and then we'll work on the bench and we'll do a breakdown of this tweeter. Okay, so here we go. We're going to take these bolts out and you'll see exactly everything that's happening as it happens. Oh, a little bit tight, which you would expect. We'll just take these bolts out. One, and place them down on the table. Here comes the second one. The third one. Now just be a bit careful at this point, because generally the tweeters should be stuck like in place fairly well, but sometimes they do this where they're actually just sitting in there. So if that's the case, just place your finger on gently on the felt outer edge of the tweeter, just until you can, and be very, very careful and just work your way through it slowly and take the final bolt out, and then very gently slide the tweeter forward, and you'll be able to see from there that we have, sure enough, a Wilson tweeter, and we have two wires soldered onto the positive and the negative post of this tweeter. So the next thing we'll be doing is heating up a soldering iron, and we will take those wires away and move to the next stage. Okay, so we've got a nice hot soldering iron here, cleaned and ready to go. So what we'll do is we'll grab hold of the tweeter, just keeping it in our hand, and then very, very gently I put my little finger against here, because there's some pretty strong magnets that we're dealing with around here. So what we want to do is just put our soldering iron on the wire there until we warm it up enough, and away it will go. And we'll put a little bit of solder on there, but we've dealt with that. So let's go around to this side, and we'll do the same thing here. So again, putting the soldering iron against the wire. Oops, and there we go. And that's it. Our Wilson tweeter is removed. Okay, so the next thing we need to do here is on the back of this Wilson driver, you'll see a little red sticker. I'll bring it up close to the camera. Oops, where are we? See that little red sticker there? So what we want to do is very gently with our fingernail or a razor blade or anything you can find, is we want to try and very gently, if we can save it, then that is a good thing. We want to pick the little edge up and then get hold of the sticker. Oops, proving to be a bit difficult. There we go, now it's behaving. And then we want to take that little sticker off, because that goes over a couple of areas that we need there to have separation from. So when we look at the Wilson label, which faces forward toward the front of the tweeter, that little red sticker there designates the positive terminal. So we'll stick that very gently just on the side of the tweeter there. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to remove this sticker here. So we very gently, it's a metal sticker. It says Wilson Audio. So we want to very, very gently remove that. And then we can place that there, just down from where we removed it from, on the back of the motor there. So essentially what we've done, we're just going to move this sticker back up here at some point, and the Wilson sticker back up right between the two positive and the negative posts there. So once that's done, what we might need to do is just plonk that there, like so. Is then we sit the tweeter down like this, and then we need to get a T10 to star type arrangement, which you can probably see there. And now we've got to be very, very careful here, because this is where there's quite a lot of magnetism. So we would be very gently put that into the bolt there, and then slowly we remove that bolt. And you can see what I'm talking about. It's pulled the see that? It's pulled the bit away from the actual screwdriver itself. So, and then when we pull the screw out, which is this little fella here, that was also going to fight you all the way. You're going to need to be very careful about getting that out. Okay, so I'll plonk that there so we can see it. So we'll put the bit back in, and we'll go back here to the next one, and then very gently we remove this one. Now if you can get your fingernail under the bolt, you can probably pull the whole thing out like that in one foul swoop. That's the next one. Then we've got one more to go. So then we undo that one. Again, see if we can put our fingernail underneath and lift everything up in one foul swoop. Sometimes it'll do it, other times it won't. No, it's not going to let me do that this time. So I'll need to get in there. Maybe I needed to turn a few more turns. Yep. And there we go. There's that third bolt out of there. Now, at this point, we've undone these bolts. We've got the tweeter out of the housing. This waveguide should very gently slide off. See that? So it just slides away. It has 3 lugs there that go into these 3 holes here. So you can't get this wrong. These are the things that nobody will tell you about, nobody knows about, unless you're a tech and you do this kind of thing for a living. So that is the waveguide. And then what we're left with is the motor structure, which is a 6 neodymium magnet array that is the motor drive of this tweeter, and this black plastic arrangement here with the diaphragm, the silk doped diaphragm that is the Wilson tweeter. So now what we do very gently is we hold on to the blue part of the magnet, and then we very, very gently try and pry this forward. Now, I think what's going on here is there is a little bit of a glue arrangement that is just holding this in place. So I'll go and grab another tool, and I'll come back and I'll explain to you how we get that off. Okay, so the next thing we need to do after we see that this is sitting in here rather snugly is we need to get a small flat-bladed screwdriver like this, a Tech screwdriver or something small that you think will be able to get into underneath between. So we want to go, now again, everything here is magnetized, so be very, very, very careful. But what we want to do, gently using our little finger, if you like, as a guide, is come in to this section in between the plastic outer ring of the diaphragm and the metal magnet structure. And we just want to lever this up a little bit. And we move around to another spot here. We place the screwdriver in and we lever here a little bit. So we just gently move our way around this motor structure and just lever things forward a little bit like this. Then you'll feel like it's released. And I can assure you it more than likely has. Maybe we've got here we go. Now you'll see what I'm talking about here. This is a glued in type arrangement. You see that glue just released there then? And there's another dab of this glue on the other side. So there we have it. That is the affected part on the tweeter. So we'll put that aside and then we'll have a little bit of a closer look at the neodymium magnet structure that is the Wilson tweeter. So it has a little foam landing point here for the diaphragm to fit onto. Again, this is all lugged, so this is impossible to get wrong. As long as you know where your upper point is on the magnet structure, and we know that because we stuck the sticker directly next to it here. We have a glued point there with a dab of this tacky glue and another one there. So that we know that that's where our tabs will fit back on for the new diaphragm. So that is essentially the motor structure. There's nothing wrong with this. This will work perfectly. It just needs a new diaphragm placed in it. So we'll go to the next part of this, which is having a close look at the blown up diaphragm. Okay, so let's grab the damaged diaphragm here and let's have a look at what's gone wrong here. So it's quite clearly obvious when I turn this over. If you look at that, you can see that the dome seems to be pointing. It's very abnormal in this area here around the outside. It should be sat down more. Now, I know what's gone on here because I can see it, but let's turn it over and I'll show you what's actually happened here. Look at this. This is the voice coil. It has completely and absolutely burnt. You can see this is the voice coil here. Look at the color. That should be a copper color there. That is burnt. So I've done a very good job of this on this side of this. Now that voice coil would be glued onto this silk diaphragm under here. And it has got so hot that it has actually parted ways with the silk diaphragm. So that's why this here has become quite unhappy. So if we might even be able to make this sit back down again if we really want to make it look normal, but maybe it's just cooked itself, so it's not really going to want to play the game. So if we look on the other side of this, you can see where the wires come off the voice coil and go across to the positive and the negative tab. And you can actually see when we look in close there that there's a little bit of copper that didn't burn in the voice coil. And then you can see the color change as we go around. About there, we notice that the color change happens and we've got a blackening. And then when we come around to the back of it here, it is completely black. So that is why I don't have any sound coming out of this diaphragm anymore, because it has completely and utterly cooked itself. Well, I've cooked it by virtue of what I did. So that is a Wilson diaphragm that will not be making any more music for us.